Hello and welcome to the Remedy Fibers podcast, a podcast about knitting and crochet hosted by me, Jillian. If you're new here, welcome, and if you're a returner, thank you so much for coming back to my channel. Today we have 3 finished objects. I'm so impressed, and also I've been busy. Some new works in progress that I'm thinking about casting on or I've already started, and just a quick check-in seeing how things are going. One thing that I do want to talk about today is the rise of AI and how all of these robots are taking over the yarn shops. So if you're interested, stay tuned. But if you're new here, I live in Northern California with my husband and dog Benny. I love everything yarn related, and I hope you stay for my yarn journey. Before we get started, I just want to say thank you to everyone who left me a comment on the special announcement video. If you haven't checked that out, go to last week's episode where I talk about a special announcement. It was really touching and really thoughtful for all of the comments that you left for me. We are so excited. I'm so excited, and I'm just really appreciative of sharing my story with you and all of you really cheering me on and wishing me the best. So thank you so much. Today I'm wearing a summer sorrel. This is something that I made, I want to say last year, and it really doesn't fit me. My stomach literally is popping out on the bottom, but you're not gonna see that. And for today's purposes, you get to see the lovely top half. I love wearing this top. This pattern was kind of complicated when I first started to learn it, but at this point I think I've made 2 or 3 of these and I really do enjoy it. But as for finished objects, my Felix cardigan is now completely finished. It's been blocked, buttons have been sewn, and I'm really happy with it. So let me try it on for you now. This is my completed Felix cardigan by Christoffers. We're gonna pretend you did not see that little ends stick out. I thought I wove in all my ends, but I guess I missed one. But this is my completed Felix cardigan. I'm so happy with it. Believe it or not, it did stretch out just a tiny bit in the blocking process, which I'm surprised in because during my swatch, it didn't grow at all. But the sleeves are kind of on the longer end. I do like my sleeves to be right on my wrist, but it doesn't hurt to have something a little bit cozier for the colder months. This would be a winter garment because the yarn is a little bit on the scratchy side, but I do admit after blocking it in really hot water with wool wash, I don't really feel the itch anymore, so that's a positive. And then I got these buttons on Michaels. They were having a sale, and so I feel like they match perfectly with the color of my cardigan. I bought them hoping that I can use the yarn to sew them in, but my darning needle, my sewing needle was just too large, so I had to just use regular thread to sew those on. And I'll insert a picture of me wearing it here. I'm not too crazy about the picture, but you can see how it looks when the buttons are closed. I think that I should have done a little bit of a better job lining up the buttons so that there wasn't a lot of space in between them, but for the most part, I'm never really gonna close up my sweaters, and my body's changing so much that this probably is not how it's gonna look once baby is born. So this is my Felix cardigan in the Galaxy colorway of Eats Let Lovey. I got this for my birthday last year in celebration of my 30th. So now I have a sweater to commemorate not only such a monumental birth year, but also my trip to San Francisco because I purchased this yarn at Imagine It. But this is how it's looking. It is very cozy, very comfy. It's not fitted. In the past, I think I went for more of a fitted look, but it has some drape, some positive ease to it, and overall, I want to wear it now, but I know it's just way too hot for that. So let me know what you think about my Felix cardigan. My next finished object is my baby's blankie. So this is how the blanket is looking. This is the Worth Remembering pattern by 5410. It is a paid for pattern, and this pattern costs $5 US. But I used acrylic yarn. It's a basket weave stitch, and there are free basket weave stitch designs on Ravelry or on YouTube. But I really like the style of this one. This was looking more so for the weight of yarn and the needle size that I wanted, so I decided to invest in this design. But overall, I'm so happy with it. I'll try to insert a picture so that you can see it a little bit better, but because of the dark navy color, it is a little bit hard to see, but you get the point. It's pretty long. And before I recorded last week's episode, I was thinking this blanket was going to take me all summer, and something about recording last week, it really invigorated me. I couldn't put this project down. I'm actually surprised that I'm done with it. It's blocked, it was laid flat to dry, and I can't wait to see baby cuddled up in his new blankie that matches his dad's blankie as well. Last but not least, this was a impulse buy. Didn't have a plan for it. I think I showed the yarn on the last episode. However, the project is complete, and I'm really having such a great time having smaller projects that can be done within a week, can be done within a few hours. That instant gratification is really giving my knitting and crochet mojo what it needs. So here I have my finished object. This is the Crochet Hippo Lovey, and at first when I saw it, I was like, oh, I hate it, but I think I was being too critical of it. I needed to like sleep on it, and I'm so happy with it. It's so precious. And this is just a regular granny square, round and around and around. This is a free pattern on Michaels, so I can link that down below. I also have it linked on my project page. It's not a Ravelry pattern, but on my Ravelry I put the instructions in there. It's pretty easy to follow if you know how to single crochet, invisible decrease. I had to search that stitch up, but it's just really cute, and I'm really happy with it. I'm hoping that baby will love it. This can be his like comfort little hippo. One pet peeve that I have is the pattern asks for 4 balls of this yarn, and I only use 2. So I ordered an extra ball of yarn for nothing, and I'm not gonna make this longer. It's already pretty long, and maybe I can return it and get a different yarn, because I really don't want to try to force myself to use something, especially when the project is already complete and I don't have any reason to have this is like such a particular color. It's not like I can add it to something else. So let me know what you think about my little Crochet Hippo Lovey. So next up, I have one work in progress for today. This was an impulse buy and an impulse cast on. Yesterday I just had a work conference, and I knew that in advance, so I said let me purchase some yarns because it was going to take about an hour and a half to get to our location. And so I picked up some random on sale yarn over at Michaels. This is Karen Cakes. I'm not sure of the colorway. I'll include that down below in case you're interested. But this is a yarn that's been kind of advertised for the last few months, and it always caught my eye, but it was originally I think $14, and I got it on sale for $5. So I only bought 1 ball of this, and the goal was just to make another blanket. This will be baby's 4th blanket. And does he need these many blankets? Probably not, but I wanted a road trip project. So this is how the blanket is coming up. This was inspired by my Crochet Hippo Lovey because I really like the meditative granny square that you just kind of go around and around, and especially that this one has different colors in it. I love seeing the color switch, seeing what's going to pop up next, and just seeing what the project is going to look like at the end. And then as I was working on this yarn, I was saying it kind of reminds me of like Hot Wheels and very boy themed colors. So this is a project that's so relaxing, so meditative, and this is how much, this was much bigger. I want to say this was double in size. So it's working up pretty fast, and then once I'm done, he will have this little granny throw. Maybe he'll have like a basket of blankets, just because I'm obsessed with blanket making. They're so fun, mindless, easy to just take on the go, and I'm excited to work on that for this long 3-day weekend. So as we wrap up the month of May, I just wanted to remind everyone that Worldwide Knit in Public Day is happening June 8th. So make sure to check out your local yarn stores to see if they're having any meetups, any special sales. I haven't been able to actually participate in a Worldwide Knit in Public Day. Normally people just kind of gather on June 8th, either in a public place, outside of the yarn store, in the yarn store, to just knit, connect, and be in community with one another. So I'll be keeping my eye out to see if there's any local yarn shops that will be celebrating this day and maybe get some deals. I know that Memorial Day weekend there's going to be a lot of yarn on sale. I'll probably be buying some. I'm not quite sure yet because I literally have a box of yarn waiting for me over there. I'm not going to show it to you today because I'm thinking about returning it. Maybe I will show it to you. Give me a sec. So this is my big box of yarn that came in the mail this week, and I was really disappointed because the yarn that I ordered was going to make the Folklore Cardigan by Taylor Swift, and the color is white. So I don't know if this was an error on my end, if I didn't read the description properly, or if the color online just showed me more of a beige neutral color. But when I looked at this and I opened the box, it looked pure white, and I'm not comfortable making a pure white sweater because I dirty things, and I wanted something more neutral, beige tannish color. And so yeah, I was thinking maybe I can make this into another blanket, but then I searched it up and I could return this yarn at Michael's and buy something that's more for the colors that I'm looking for. So that's a little bit discouraging and upsetting because I did buy quite a lot of this so that I can make that Folklore cardigan for the second time. And then sadly, this is the extra ball of yarn that came in because I was trying to follow the pattern and not be cheap, and I didn't want to risk running out of yarn, and that wasn't even an issue. So maybe I'll return this and get some Memorial Day sales. I'm not sure, but I am having more inspiration for knitting and crochet. There are some yarns in stash that I've been dying to use and try to find a pattern for. I have some summer yarn, I have some winter yarn, and I do have some more spinning that I need to get done. So I'll definitely be keeping busy this 3-day weekend, just knitting, crocheting, maybe a sprinkle of spinning in there as well. But one thing that I wanted to talk about was, tell me how Michael's, the big box yarn store, kind of got rid of all of their cashiers. AI, them little iPad robots, have taken over the checkout process. And maybe a month ago they were back. There were still humans checking out the customers, and just about 2 weeks ago I was waiting to be called up like next so they can ring you up, and the person said if you're paying with card you could go to the machine. It was so disheartening. Let me know if your big box yarn store has switched over to those iPad robot checkout machines. It's just really upsetting because I feel like the whole purpose of going to a yarn store is human interaction. I always liked when they grab your yarn and they say, oh, what are you going to be making with this? Or just like small talk. And it really takes away the personable feeling when going to Michael's. I'm not sure about Joann's because you know Joann's filed for bankruptcy and we don't know what's happening with that. But it kind of makes me discouraged to go in person to Michael's. Like I might as well go online shopping or just resort to my local yarn store where I can actually interact with the human, have them help me pick out my yarn, pick out a project. And it just was really weird to check out at Michael's with a iPad robot. So I'll be interested to know if they've converted all of the cashiers into these little robot machines in your area, or if you still have the luxury of speaking with another human being. And it's so ironic because we're watching knitting podcasts online, but you know, I've been trying to start up my in-person knit group. I've attempted to do 2 in-person meetups, and I asked for people to RSVP and no one ever RSVPs. You can see people are like looking at it, and the group has grown. I want to say we have close to 30 members in my area, local people, and they just refuse to commit. So in the meantime, we will still be communicating through this podcast. But regarding shopping, it just really was disheartening to not be faced with another human being chit-chatting about yarn, having a little small talk, and then that's something that I am gonna miss from Michael's. But that's all that I have for this week. Let me know what you are working on, what's on your knitting needles or crochet hook, if you plan to join Worldwide Knit in Public Day. But I hope that you and your family are happy, healthy, and safe, and hope to talk to you soon. Take care. Bye.